What if I told you there are people who don't just avoid others, they study them, not because they're evil, not because they want revenge, but because the human world feels like a dangerous experiment they were never trained for. You've seen them, the quiet ones, the distant ones, the ones who disappear from parties without saying goodbye. People think they're rude, cold, antisocial, but the truth, they've understood something about humanity that most people ignore. And maybe you're one of them. Let's go deep into the 3 kinds of minds that silently pull away from the world, not out of hatred, but out of a psychological truth they wish they could unlearn. These people in the first category didn't wake up one day and decide, I hate everyone. No, life taught them, painfully. Someone they trusted fed them lies. Someone they loved chose someone else. Someone they depended on disappeared when they needed them most. And here's the dark psychology twist. When the human brain is betrayed, it doesn't just remember the person, it remembers the pattern. So now, every smile looks suspicious. Every promise feels temporary. Every trust me sounds like a quiet threat. These people don't isolate because they're weak. They isolate because their mind evolved into a survival machine. They don't want connections that break. They want peace that stays. And that's why they bond with animals. Not because animals are cute, but because animals don't lie. Their loneliness isn't emptiness. It's protection. The second type doesn't reject the world. They simply don't fit into its noise. They walk into a room and instantly feel the emotional temperature shift. A fake smile here, a hidden argument there, gossip floating in the air, tension beneath the laughter. They don't hate people. They hate the noise behind people. Their mind is wired to detect emotional chaos before anyone else senses it. So when they choose solitude, they're not running away. They're escaping a storm that nobody else can hear. But here's the twist. The world punishes quiet people. Society calls them antisocial. Friends call them distant. Family calls them cold. The truth? They're none of those things. They're just tired of being misunderstood. Solitude isn't their prison. It's their sanctuary. 3. The human mirror. The one who sees everything wrong with us. The last type didn't choose darkness. They were shaped by it. Every disappointment etched a scar. Every humiliation sharpened their vision. Every broken promise became evidence. They don't see people the way you do. They see motives. They see manipulation. They see the selfishness behind polite words. They don't hate humanity because they're bitter. They hate it because they've watched it without filters. Here's the final twist. These people often understand human behavior more accurately than anyone else. Their hatred is actually clarity, a brutally honest understanding of how people use, judge, fake, manipulate, and pretend. They don't run from society. They reject it because they've seen the part of humanity most people are too afraid to notice. When someone says, I hate people, they're rarely expressing hatred. They're revealing a wound, a boundary, a warning sign, a survival strategy. Some hide from pain, some hide from noise, some hide from humanity's darker side. But here's the question you need to ask yourself. Which one are you? And more importantly, have you been avoiding people? Or have you been avoiding the version of yourself that people turned you into? Think about it. If this made you see the world a little darker or a little clearer, hit subscribe. We go deeper than anyone else.